From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the daily news for December 19th, 2025, and these are the stories we are covering at this hour. A man who is suspected of killing two and wounding several others at Brown University has been found dead in a New Hampshire storage facility where he had rented a unit, officials said. Claudio Neves Valente, age 48, a former Brown student and Portuguese national, was found dead Thursday evening from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, Colonel Oscar Perez, the Providence police chief, said at a news conference. Perez said as far as investigators know, the suspect acted alone. Investigators believe Neves Valente is responsible for both the shooting at Brown and the killing of Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor who was fatally shot in his Brookline home Monday, U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts Leah B. Foley said. 2 people were killed and 9 were wounded in the mass shooting Saturday at Brown University. The investigation had shifted Thursday when authorities said they were looking into a connection between the Brown mass shooting and an attack 2 days later near Boston that killed 47-year-old MIT professor Nuno F.G. Loureiro. In other news, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services on Thursday unveiled a series of regulatory actions designed to effectively ban gender-affirming care for minors, building on broader Trump administration restrictions on transgender Americans. The proposals mark the administration's most significant moves to restrict the use of puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgical interventions for transgender children, running counter to the recommendations of most major U.S. medical organizations. More than half of U.S. states already ban or restrict gender-affirming care. The proposed rules also cut off federal Medicaid and Medicare funding from hospitals that provide gender-affirming care to children, imperiling access in nearly 24 states where drug treatments and surgical procedures remain legal and funded by Medicaid. And in other news, the annual bill topping more than 3,000 pages in length, of course we mean the National Defense Authorization Act, authorizes spending on defense programs while pressuring Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to provide lawmakers with video strikes on alleged drug boats in international waters near Venezuela. That bill, valued at $901 billion, has been signed into law by President Donald Trump. Other major provisions of the bill include a 3.8% pay bump for U.S. troops and requirements that the U.S. keep its troop levels in Europe at current levels and send some military aid to Ukraine. The White House had scheduled a public bill signing for the president, but eventually kept the event closed to the news media. No explanation was given for the change. And in Pennsylvania news, if you live in Pennsylvania, you could be getting a check in the mail soon. Treasurer Stacey Garrity said Thursday that nearly 100,000 Pennsylvania money match checks totaling over $22 million are on their way to people across the Commonwealth. Pennsylvania Money Match, which was created in 2024, seeks to automatically return unclaimed property valued up to $500 belonging to a single owner without the need to search or file a claim. Unclaimed property can include dormant bank accounts, uncashed checks, forgotten stocks, rebates, insurance policies, and contents of abandoned safe deposit boxes. Over 1 in 10 Pennsylvanians is owed some of the $5 billion in unclaimed property in the Treasury's care, and the average value of a claim is more than $1,000. Including last year's batch of checks, more than $50 million total will have been returned automatically to Pennsylvanians. And that's the news at this hour. If you are watching our news videos on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.